I don't know if you've heard, but it's hard to sell a guitar now. So brands have to find new ways to get you to buy a new guitar, especially because there's so many good used ones. And Gretsch has found a way to sell me a guitar, which is to make me want to do this guitar for you guys for a deep dive. So today we're checking out Gretsch's new, cheapest guitar. So what do we have? This is the Gretsch Jet Club 1 pickup in olive drab. It also comes in pink and black. And it's a 1 pickup guitar, obviously to be competitor against like the Epiphone 1 pickup guitars. And so it's not like so much like a metal guitar. But Gretsch did something really cool, for sure. I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. Nice little snug fit. Nice and neat. For the record, I bought this guitar from Guitar Center. They shipped it from my local store, which is funny because if I knew they were going to ship it that fast, I just wouldn't have picked it up. Warning! Oh no, you always love it when you get a guitar and it says warning, warning, avoid danger, don't suffocate yourself in this. Okay, what do you get? You get some chiclets and you get a 4mm Allen wrench, which is the standard Allen wrench for truss rods. This is a gloss. This color is awesome. But the big star of the show is, look at the headstock. That's that cool, you know, White Falcon looking Gretsch headstock. I love it. Like big, over the top. This is awesome. Okay, so it's time to get into the geeky stuff. For today's geeky stuff, we're going to be using the following tools. We're going to be using a ESP spanner wrench, Phillips head screwdrivers 1, 2, and 3. We're going to be using a digital multimeter with a guitar cable, a nut slot gauge, neck relief gauge, fretboard radius gauges, fret rocker, string action gauge, digital calipers, a micrometer to verify the string gauge, a Peterson strobe tuner, a flashlight, Kyser Capos, a suction dent puller, StewMac conductive shielding paint, and some paintbrushes. I'll put links to all these things in the description down below. The nut is new bone. So it's from Graphtec. I mean, these are obviously basic tuning keys, but not the garbage ones. Of course, this is crafted in China, as it would be. No one's going to make you a guitar in the United States for $189. All right, so volume and tone. Got the speed knobs. It'd be really cool if they put the Gretsch knobs on there. 1-piece wraparound bridge. It's not a gold pickup, so you know, it's just a regular pickup. There's a part of me going, Filtertron would have been great. There's no way it came in tune. But let's try. Let's see, is it in tune? It's in tune. Okay, let's tune it up. Let's tune up the guitar. So you guys know, tuning up the guitar took 4 minutes and 5 seconds, and then including stretching the strings, which was pretty easy and effortless. Pretty close. Little buzzing. A lot of buzzing. Okay. This is going to need setup. Yep. Okay, so the neck needs a little bit of relief, which is easy enough. We have the tools here that they gave us. We'll give the neck just a little bit of relief. So adjusting the neck took 1 minute and 10 seconds, which is pretty fast because it just needed relief. Yep, that was good. That's all it needed, just a little bit of relief. Let's go ahead and see how it is out of the box. Action off the 12th fret is coming in at 2 millimeters. What a shock. 2 millimeters, 2 millimeters, 1.75, 1.75, 1.5. So overall, we're gonna say 2 millimeters with just a little bit of relief in the neck. Let's see how they cut that nut. Now we know it was a pre-cut new bone nut, but you know, let's see how it sits. And wow, there is no play in the strings between the first fret and the nut, which is fine because there's no heavy buzzing and choked out notes. Although, man, they are really deep. So any deeper and you have a problem, I might even want to put just a little bit more relief in this neck just to make sure that all plays out great. But let's see how that goes. Let's play the frets now that we know how the action is to see if there's any high frets. I don't know if you know, at the end of this, I continue the testing for the sheet. So there's a sheet that you can print that tells you all the details of the guitar, and everything is done on top of what I'm doing. So I'll do the fret rocker. And normally I only show you guys the fret rocker if I have an issue, to show you which frets I have an issue. No high frets, no issues like that. I mean, that's pretty good. One thing I gotta tell you is the frets look really shiny. I mean, they're really shiny and glassy. I was noticing that when I was playing all the notes, and the same thing with the fret ends. So I'm really curious to see how it will do on the sock test, because they feel pretty polished. Let's go with the treble side, and a little bit. I can feel a little bit of barbs on the sides. So looking here, it's hard to tell. I wanna show you, because I did it a little bit over here. I wanna do it here. Sometimes it's not a perfect world. Oh, so in this particular case, there's snags right there. I'm gonna call this a 3 or 3.5 out of 5. But the thing to note is, it's actually fine until you get about right there. So really what this is just a couple frets right there. So let's go ahead and do the bass side. We'll swap the sides of the sock to see how this side performs. And I'm gonna say that same thing, about 3.5. We're just gonna call it 3.5, be nice, but it's probably could be a 3. I mean, it's $189. Now keep in mind with sales tax is a little bit more. I could see where somebody would buy this, right? Put like a cool decal there, throw in their favorite, pickup if they want, and go. And you have a cool guitar for sure. It's got a belly carve right here, which is nice, and no arm carve. It's super light. Let's go ahead and weigh this thing. And the weight is 7.28 or 3.310 kilograms. It feels 6 pounds. Let's see what kind of pickup they gave us for this guitar. Looking at the humbucker, we're at 11.48 K is the resistance, with the inductance coming in at 4.96. So output jack, you can see here just a really basic plastic plate. The only thing that sucks about these is these tend to crack right here where they bent this plastic, and I can already see a crease in the plastic. It's very hard for you guys to see, but it's there. I've seen this before. They just start cracking. This plastic is just too rigid and it just cracks. Intonation, we're gonna check the intonation on this. Now normally when checking intonation, you wanna do it in the playing position. But I'm doing it right now because it's just easier for filming purposes to do it this way. This is always tricky when your intonation is out on a bridge like this, because predetermined distances here. There is adjustments, just so you guys know. There are 2 Allen wrenches right there that you can adjust, and what that does is that lets you tilt the bridge this way, or bring the whole thing back and forward. Mostly you would just bring it back and forward. And so if your intonation's out, that's your adjustment. Intonation, I would say, is really good on the E, A, and D, and then the G, B, and E, we're showing just a little bit off. So in this case, I'm gonna loosen the Allen screw and it's gonna move the bridge forward a little bit. Something to note with a bridge like this bridge is designed so you can use 9s, 10s, 11s, and even 12 gauge strings. However, if you use a wound G string, it will not intonate correctly. They're saying the body is a solid mahogany body. That's what they're saying is it is. I would imagine it's a multiple pieces. Heck, this could be up to 5 pieces. The neck is also a mahogany neck, and of course it's bolted on, and it has 4 furls instead of a back plate, and that helps it round over the corner here. And then what we call that is the handshake, and that's where we hold it here to see how it feels. It's all right. It's not poking you, but I mean, obviously, it could be a little better if it was, at an angle on one side or a little carved in. But the fact that it's round, at least, it's not stabbing in there. So better than, let's say, the typical squared heel with the plate. The fretboard is Indian Laurel and thumbnail inlays. These are mother of pearl. It is a 24.875 inches in scale. That's pretty cool. And it's got a 12-inch radius fretboard. And the neck shape is called the Fast C. Yeah, maybe. It's thin. It's a thin neck. So not a chunky neck, very thin. Feels very comfortable. C is a little bit much. I'd say more of a U. It's a little flat on the back. To me, when I think of C, I think of it like this and not so much in the shoulders right here. There's more in the shoulder right here. But either way, it's thin. Think closest, I think Gibson 60s neck, that's for sure. Let's take some measurements. Looking at the nut width, 42.77 millimeters or 1.684. On the 12th fret, 52.69 millimeters or 2.074. Thickness at the first fret coming in at 21.27 millimeters or 0.837. So like I said, pretty thin for a neck. On the 12th fret, we have the thickness coming in at 21.83 millimeters or 0.859. It's really thin all the way through. So this is a really fast neck. Let's look inside the cavity. All right. What we have is two dime-size alpha style pots. They are both 500K potentiometers. No shielding in the cavity, nothing special. Basic wiring, very clean work. We have the capacitor right there for the tone control. About as rudimentary and easy as it gets. Lots of room to upgrade if you want to throw in some oversized potentiometers, maybe something a little more robust if you want something like that. Lots of room to put stuff in, including a room for a 9-volt battery. If you want to throw an EMG in here, why would you throw an EMG in a Gretsch? I don't know. You're a sick person and you do weird things. I don't know you. Anyways, for those curious, the route pattern underneath the humbucker is big enough for a humbucker. So if you want to put a P90 in this, you would have to do some routing. I want to see if I can verify some stuff. Let's take the neck off and see if we can verify what the wood is. You can see the wood looks like mahogany. I mean, it's really hard to tell with only that little sample size. I could probably sand a piece right here, but I'm not gonna. I can already tell from that. It looks like a darker mahogany style wood, and the grain, I can see just the side of it. I know it's hard for you guys, but I can see the side of it. I believe that's a mahogany style wood neck. Yeah, that don't look right. That just doesn't look right. I don't know why. I need to see. It's gonna drive me crazy. So Sweetwater is saying it's mahogany on their site. I want to go to the actual Gretsch site. Mahogany body. They're saying mahogany body. I think for $180, if this guitar was made out of particle board, I wouldn't care. However, I'm just trying to do a video for you guys where I give you all the specifications of the guitar, not using their ad copy. As always just giving you what I found and whether it agrees or disagrees with them. I took and sanded the wood inside the cavity and it's very soft. This is very soft. There is a lot of different types of mahogany out there in the world now, and there is a great debate on whether or not they're even mahogany at all, but we're just going to explain a couple things you should know. This is mahogany. It's called Philippine mahogany, and it looks kind of light and tan like basswood. It's also soft like basswood. It tends to be cheaper, which is why a lot of companies will use it, especially for a guitar like this where they're trying to save money. Besides being one of the least expensive grades that they could call mahogany, guitar manufacturers like it because it sands and cuts easily, it's not overly hard on the tools, and it glues and finishes well. The downfalls are it's not as durable as true mahogany. Despite its name, it's not a true mahogany species. It's a softer, less stable, and more prone to dents, rot, and decay, especially outdoors. Of course, you don't have to worry about that because they've coated this heavily in polyurethane. But again, we're talking about a $189 guitar. I just want you to be clear on what you're buying since they're just using generic terms and not really explaining things. Let's put this thing back together. Let's play it because really, ultimately, really all it matters is how it sounds and plays anyways. So let's do that. Okay, and just to let you know real quick, I didn't leave it like that. I used shielding paint and I decided to paint the inside of the cavity with shielding paint so it looks actually better than new because now it's got shielding in there. And of course, like always, if you missed any details, there's a scorecard in the description down below that takes you to our website. You can see the detailed results of this guitar and other guitars from the other videos I've done. So a couple things I want to point out. The guitar is strung with 10 to 46 gauge strings. The thing you need to know is that 10s are going to feel like 9s. I almost think they should have put 11s on this. So something to think about that, or maybe 10 hybrids. Something to consider if you're going to get this guitar. And the intonation ended up dialing in pretty well with only the G being ever so sharp on the strobe tuner. So we'll be fine there. We're gonna start with a clean tone. We're gonna run it through a Boss Katana Gen 3, the blue edition, which is just a blue color. There's nothing in the sound difference of the amp or speaker. It's just blue because it's a Guitar Center exclusive. I'm gonna run that with a Sennheiser E609. We'll start with the clean, but I'm also gonna roll the tone control halfway back so you can see how you can get the pickup to warm up even more to get it more like a neck pickup. So now what I've done is I've switched the amp over to a gain setting. I'm gonna go ahead and let's hear how the guitar sounds with a little bit more gain. What I'll do now is I'm going to switch to a lower gain setting on the amp to hear more of a bluesy rock sound. Pros and cons, starting with the cons first. Obviously, even though it's an amazing price at $189, you do have to do a setup. There's just no way. You're gonna have to make some adjustments and set the guitar up. The fact that there was almost 0 defects is really impressive. And like I said, this wasn't cherry picked. I bought this. The thing I wanna tell you though is that a guitar at this price, they're gonna make a lot of them. So there's gonna be a lot of inconsistency. So just be aware of that. So you might get something better than this or worse than this. That's the odds you're taking when you buy inexpensive guitars. They don't get a lot of hands and eyes on their their eyeballs on this, and they're just kind of pushing them out the door. The choice of the pickup's a little strange. It's more of an 80s metal pickup for this guitar, so you're gonna have to contend with that. Not that the pickup's bad, because it actually sounds pretty good. It's just this is not the pickup that I kind of hear or imagine to hear in this particular guitar, the way this guitar looks. Definitely let's do some pros because there's a lot. The nut, using a good nut was a great idea. The frets seem to be done really well. Binding on the neck look fantastic. The color is also awesome, and the fact that the guitar is super light. I was really mostly impressed with the neck. The neck feels nice. It's like I said, it's like a 60s Gibson neck. Thin, feels good. Tuning keys are good. This is a fantastic instrument for $188, especially since we've seen companies like Firefly and Off Brands making guitars in the $200 price range that are just killing out there for quality for dollar. It's good to see Gretsch, a brand name, doing this. Other than that, everything else was executed beautifully. I love it when I can't complain, so I'm gonna end on that note. As always, thank you so much for hanging out to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. Till the next time, know your gear.